And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win, the week of Who Would Win, nearly coming to an end. The speed run comes up tomorrow. Comes to us from Mike Piston, who asked for a composite crossover group versus of the Universal monsters versus iconic horror slashers. Now, sadly, I don't have the full list in front of me of who you wanted, but I remember the vast majority of them. You have Count Dracula, the Frankenstein monster, not Frankenstein, the Frankenstein monster, Imhotep, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, the Gill Man, the Invisible Man. There were also a couple other ones. I think the Phantom was on there, and Nosferatu was also on there. Now, when it came to the horror slashers, you asked for Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, Chucky. I don't know if you asked for Jigsaw, but here he is. Leatherface was on there. I know Matt Corden was on there. Maniac Cop. I know Pinhead, I believe, was on there. I think Candyman was on there too. So this is now look. If we're talking about a composite, because you did say composite, are you asking me to composite every version of Dracula? Period in fiction? Are you asking every composite version of Frankenstein? Because let me be very clear right now. If I do that, then they're winning right out the gate. Because if you composite just Dracula alone, that's obviously Bram Stoker's Dracula's, but also Alucard from Hellsing Abridged, or Hellsing Ultimate, Hellsing. Castlevania Dracula, who is a master sorcerer. Dracula from Blade Trinity, who is a physical beast and can survive in the sunlight. You have, and then there's several other versions of Dracula who I just don't have off the top of my head at the moment. So I've got those three right there. If I were to composite every version of, say, the Wolfman, or werewolves in general, I can just basically make the strongest version of a werewolf I can use. Nosferatu is just a vampire, so that's really not that. Orlok's just a vampire, really not much to do with that. Frankenstein monster, though, there are multiple versions of the Frankenstein monster. Some of them even gain electrical powers. Technically, I can use Ben Victor from Ben 10, which is a Frankenstein variant. So, if I do that, it doesn't matter what the composite side of the horror icons is, because even if I composite Jason, what? I'm combining Deadite, Comic, and Uber Jason together? Great. He's got no resistance to magic whatsoever. Dracula would make him his bitch. Freddy's a little bit more dangerous to deal with, but again, magic. And Michael Myers at best is supernatural. It can't theoretically be hurt, but again, magic. And most of these guys physically would beat the snot out of these guys physically. Most of them. So, and that, the only one who could even stand a remote chance would be Pinhead. And even then, again, if I'm compositing all Draculas, that Dracula alone would clear all of them. So, yeah, there's your answer. Now, if I'm not compositing them, that flips the table a little bit, actually, because I'd still have to go with the strongest versions of these characters I have, but the problem is with the Universal monsters, it has to be those versions. But with these guys, I can use actually the strongest versions I can of those, which when you're dealing with someone like Pinhead or Jason means now physically no one's matching Jason. Whoever Jason is a freaking beast, can literally huck trees like they're just javelins. Pinhead is a freaking Cenobite demon that can just literally do almost anything they want. Mostly it's chains and involving pain, but they're not really susceptible to harm in a conventional sense. Freddy is still a dream lord demon, boogeyman, Sandman, so you still got to get him into the real world. Chucky can actually put his soul into other people whose souls arguably are, you can put it into anyone, but if your soul is weaker, then obviously his will overpower. Jigsaw doesn't matter. Matt Corden, though, I was about to say Cordell, but Matt Corden is Cordell. Matt Cordell, he's in essence kind of a variation on a Jason Voorhees. He's as the series went on, he's just a resurrected zombie monster cop who can just take pain, dish it out in his arm to the teeth. Leatherface is admittedly not much, but he's still got a chainsaw and he's a beefy dude. Ghostface at least is wearing a bulletproof vest, as we've seen. Michael Myers is strong and take a beating. And that's not even including the guys I'm forgetting on that list. So, and then obviously Nosferatu's a vampire. So if we're, Nosferatu, is the Universal side of things. If it's a composited, who would win? Like, composited characters into one? Oh, the monsters take it, easy. The Universal monsters take it. But if it's gotta stay the Universal monsters, and I'm using the strongest version of these characters I can, the horror movie characters, I'd actually give it to the horror movie characters. They have more than enough going for, and I forgot to include Candyman on there, which no one on that side of the fence, the Universal monsters, has an answer for. So, it all depends on how you're really interpreting the situation. If it's, composited, Universal monsters take it 100%. If it's not composited, and I have to use the strongest variations on these characters, then I'm not going to say it's 100% these guys, because I think because the Frankenstein monster is still very strong, Dracula still does have abilities, the Invisible Man can still be stealthy. It wouldn't be a guarantee, mind you, but it'd be more than 50%. So I'd go with the horror movie slashers and monsters. This is just my opinion, however. Let me know in the comments below if you feel different. And if you do, that's cool. We're all friends here. Till then, though, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Later.